So today I'm going to be answering the question, should you train your staff to be a funding expert? This is going to be especially helpful if you are a nonprofit organization or even a small business owner, believe it or not. You're going to want to listen to this episode as it's going to have a ton of nuggets and really get to the core of, is this something that you should be doing yourself, or is it going to be better to just outsource it to someone on your team? Let's go ahead and jump right in. Welcome to Nothing for Granted, a space for aspiring grant writers who are tired of feeling undervalued, underpaid, and overworked by your understaffed nonprofit. Hi, my name is Eliana, grant writer, grants consultant, and freelance coach for Christian entrepreneurs. I live for long-distance cycling rides, iced chai lattes, and outdoor adventures with my 4 little beasts. I teach you grant writing strategies and freelance tactics that set you apart when launching and scaling your Holy Spirit-led business. I too was paralyzed by those questions. So paralyzed, in fact, that I launched my business twice, thinking maybe I should take another training because, underqualification. Well, 5 certifications on my wall later. But what if I told you that with a little basic knowledge and next to no experience, you too could launch a successful and sustainable freelance grant consulting business while pursuing that degree, raising littles, and maybe getting a tan on the beach? Permission granted to stop feeling guilty over leaving behind that organization that has you stagnant and to confidently and boldly step into the most elevated version of who you were created to be. You're here for encouragement, accountability, and a slight tough love kick in the butt. No goals, just standards. Lace up your combat boots, tighten up that ponytail. Girl, it's time to get to work. Visionary, thank you so much for those of you that joined me for the Funding Readiness Workshop. I have received nothing but amazing feedback. Everyone that joined has just been so amazing, so inspired, and everyone says that it was of great value. So thank you so much for those of you that attended. You guys can catch the replay at the Funding and Freelance community page. That's bit.ly/funding and freelance. And if you're on the email list, then you have already received your checklist. Please keep in mind, one of my followers and students did advise me that there are some changes that are being made to the SAMS number, so just keep an eye out on that. I'm going to be sending out further information via the email newsletter. So if you're not on the newsletter yet, go ahead and join me at bit.ly/funding and freelance so that we can get you on there and you can be kept up to date on these changes. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode. So, should you train your staff to be a funding expert? Okay, why would this be beneficial? Well, number one, of course, like we talked about, funding experts have this ability to identify blind spots in your business that could be preventing you from securing money, whether that's in kind, whether that's capital, whether that's just support of really any kind, right? Any kind that's going to benefit your business. Because I think sometimes we get so caught up in just thinking about the money that we forget that incentives are a form of assistance, right? We forget that sometimes in kind, whether that's a marketing scholarship with a company or if it is products, that is, of course, saving you a ton of money. So sometimes there are blind spots in your business that are preventing you from securing those opportunities. A funding expert will know exactly what it is funders are looking for so that you can then lock in that assistance and, again, catapult your mission and goals, okay? So number one, yes, just to answer the question flat out, yes, I think that you should train at least one person on your team or yourself to be a funding expert. I think that this is a skill that is not going to diminish in demand. On the contrary, I think that it's growing in demand, especially as more and more people become aware of how much assistance is out there for small businesses. Of course, there's always been assistance for nonprofits, but there really is this increased need and desire for larger companies to support small businesses. And so I don't think that this is something that is going away anytime soon. And this is a skill that if you learn it, you can not only utilize it for your own business, but you could potentially monetize it by helping others in your community and charging a nominal fee. So absolutely. I think that this is something that you should be learning, or someone just delegate it to someone on your team and make the investment. Okay. This is a sure way towards employee retention. Why do I say that? Because when you invest in your team, your teammate in turn has loyalty towards you because you're investing in them professionally. You are saying, I trust you. You are saying you're part of this team. You're part of this organization. You're part of making the overarching goal a success. And so I have found that I am most loyal to companies where when they invested in me, when they invested in my growth, when they invested in what I wanted to do professionally and the skills that would get me there. And so it's a really sure way towards employee retention, especially as we're in this space where people don't want to work. Let's be honest. People don't want to work. There's no work ethic. And so if you have a team member who you see is driven, a team member who you see wants to grow, then I would say invest in that team member and get them into a course, teach them, or if you know yourself, or get them a coach so that they can teach them how to become a funding expert. So that is learning sponsorships, that is learning grant writing, that is learning how to secure brand collaborations, right? This is all encompassed in funding. Teach them fundraising, right? If this isn't whatever their forte is not, invest in them so that they can help you get that assistance, but also so that they can help themselves build those skills that are transferable into other industries and other positions. Because in the long run, you're only helping really yourself. The more that you give, guys, the more you get back. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is you have someone on hand 24/7 that's available to pitch to potential sponsors, partners, funders, okay? Why do I say that? Because a funding expert always has to be ready, okay? A funding expert understands that we have to be forward thinking. They understand that you have to always have your elevator pitch ready to sell, ready to make those connections, and really, honestly, just ready to build relationships. And a funding expert will know how to navigate those conversations that kind of come on the fly. Okay, they're always connecting. They're always, what's that phrase? They're always closing, right? So it's beneficial to you if you're building, you always have someone on hand ready to go, ready with a deck, ready with a pitch, ready with a need in the back of their mind, and they know how to make that link between yourself and that other business or organization, okay? And then reason number three is you eliminate the learning curve of a freelancer. Now, what do I mean by that? You're eliminating the curve of a freelancer that has to get to know your business, okay? Me, myself, as a freelancer, I have a mandatory period of 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, where I am learning the ins and outs of an organization. I really have to get to the bare bones of who they are. What have they done? Who have they worked with? What is their goals? I have to be able to identify what are things we need to work on. Where is the blind spots? What are things that we need to really build upon so that we can achieve the goals that they have approached me with, right? Any changes that have to be made, it's usually going to be internal, and it's going to be easier to describe because they already know the company, okay? So for example, if you invest in a team member to get not even certification, just to gain the knowledge and the skills of a funding expert, of a grants professional, of a sponsorship expert, of a collaborations expert, whatever the title you want to call it is, if you invest in someone getting that skill, then guess what? They're already on the inside. So they already know how to best describe your challenges, how to enthusiastically share your wins, how to sell the goals and the need, right? Because they're already on the inside. They're already invested in the mission as it is. They already know the ins and outs of the company. So of course, it makes so much sense for you to just invest in that team member and have them push that goal and push those opportunities on your behalf. Or if you don't have a team and you're riding solo dolo, then I 100% believe that this is a skill that you need to acquire. Just like you take the time to learn marketing, just like you take the time to learn social media, just like you should be taking the time to learn your good financial foundations, your bookkeeping, then you need to take the time to understand how can you secure the bag? How can you get money for your business besides just that income? Okay. So visionary, those are the 3 reasons why you either need to learn the skills or you need to train your staff to learn the skills of a funding expert. They don't have to be fully knowledgeable on all the things, but I do believe that having a few of these pieces are going to be game changers in your business. Visionary, do not forget to join me at Funding and Freelance. That's bit.ly/funding and freelance so that you can be kept up to date on the updates that I have mentioned. And stay tuned for a super special announcement. I have some awesome guests that are coming on the show that you don't want to miss. So if you haven't subscribed already, please be sure to subscribe to the show, leave a rating and review, and I will catch you in the next one. Many blessings on you.